highlights from tourism research in the Pacific space of the Pacific Islands Tourism Research Symposium 2021, held from 30th November to 1st December, on the theme Navigating Uncertainty Through Research, Partnering for Knowledge-Based Action in Building Pacific Tourism Forward. A joint initiative between the Pacific Tourism Organisation, the New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade and partners, the event brought together research and tourism stakeholders from the Pacific and beyond to discuss challenges and opportunities in shaping a better future through tourism. Highlights of research on Pacific culture and tourism in the region. A study in Fiji reveals that indigenous Fijians engaged in ecotourism activities define quality of life as their land, faith, and family, noting that interaction with tourists has led to expanded worldviews of residents. However, negative perceptions of tourism on quality of life affirms that the exchange is unequal and creates social tension in communities when it comes to tourism benefit distribution. A research in Solomon Islands and Vanuatu on micro-entrepreneurship in the handicraft sector reveals a strong focus on locally crafted products in Solomon Islands. It also underlines the importance of ongoing collaboration in addressing authenticity concerns and practical measures for meeting biosecurity requirements. The discussion raised gaps in government incentives for locally made products across the region. A study on dark tourism in the Solomon Islands, focusing on the battlefields of Guadalcanal, notes that local stakeholders recognize the value of battlefield tourism from a historical, educational, and tourism development point of view. However, a bottom-up approach that fully engages all stakeholders, including youth, in appreciating the value of this niche experience and providing financial support for site management are essential for this to be successful. Case studies of 3 indigenous businesses operating on customary land in Fiji highlight multiple success factors. It stresses the significant value of tourism in empowering landowners to fully engage in business development, support indigenous economies, pursue customary land retention, autonomy, and contribute to community well-being. Highlights on research relating to innovations and the focus on people. The Pacific Tourism Data Initiative recognizes regular capacity building as an integral part of sustaining research, creating knowledge through ongoing data collection, and the use of data for evidence-based decision-making. Innovative approaches to online trainings have been successful, including in mobilizing new partnerships. Harnessing the power of networks, as demonstrated by the Tourism Professional Fellows alumni, brings together 11 Pacific Island countries through the Manoa Declaration to meaningfully address the ever-increasing issues of balancing economic development, climate change, tourism, and impacts on Pacific people. A study on virtual fundraising in the Pacific and responses to tourism closures highlight the success of Sole Solevaki, a Fijian tradition of working together for a common cause in raising funds virtually for affected Fijian communities. The study underlines the intrinsic strength of culturally established economic interdependence and relational transactions centered on Fijian values of reciprocity, care, and collective support for community well-being. COVID-19 has reset the scene in how research is done, where a collaborative approach to doing research remotely in Cook Islands and Tonga, based on the values of respect, reciprocity, and relationships between research partners, participants, and all stakeholders, provided meaningful benefits for all. A recent study on COVID-19 impacts on tourism-reliant communities in the Pacific unveiled the varying impacts on financial, physical, mental, and social well-being. The research identifies spiritual well-being, an essential element of community well-being and an area that has been overlooked in the past in tourism-reliant communities.